Oakland University. They are one of the first colleges in the state of Michigan to have hope, but also implement and start working on a plan for fall of 2020. And we're going to find out what that is all about as we say hello and good morning to Dr. Ora Hirsch-Pescovitz. She's the president of Oakland University. She is standing by, joins us via Zoom. Good morning and welcome to the Megacast.
Thank you so much, Dave. I'm delighted to be here with you and your guests.
Well, it's really, really good to have you. And then in addition, I really want to thank you because each day on the program, we have a Facebook partner, another way to extend our audience. And oh my goodness, you are our Facebook partner, Oakland University, and you've got like 50,000 followers on Facebook who are now all tuning in. So to everyone Oakland University related, good morning and thank you so much for being with us. So what's going on?
More to go, because we have 115,000 alums, so we could get a few more.
All right. Well, I appreciate everyone tuning in. And, this just face-to-face, Zoom-to-Zoom conversation with folks right here in our own backyard is how we're really getting the information out. So I appreciate you taking a couple of minutes and joining us. So Oakland University has a plan for the fall. Tell us about it.
Well, it is a challenging time, of course, for students, for faculty, for staff, but we do think it's important to give people an idea of what to expect in the fall. And of course, no plan right now is certain because obviously the virus is going to do what the coronavirus is going to do. But our plan right now is to open the fall semester with a hybrid of both face-to-face instruction, but also remote learning. We don't know exactly what proportion is going to be each, but we do want to do as much face-to-face instruction that is going to be safe for our students, faculty, and staff. So that's basically our plan. We know that it's very unlikely, for example, that we're going to be able to have spectators in our arena for basketball games as we open, because that's probably going to be unsafe. On the other hand, we do think that it will be possible to be able to offer our students laboratory experiences, because those really do require having students right there in the lab. It's impossible to be able to teach them that kind of thing. Also, students that have to have clinical experiences to be able to be taught, they have to be able to be there in an actual face-to-face kind of experience. So there's a spectrum between those kinds of things, and we're trying to figure out what that spectrum is. So that's why I called it a hybrid approach.
I like that, and we're seeing that in other areas and arenas and in a lot of business sectors as well, where business leaders and planners are saying, well, we don't know exactly what this is going to look like next week,
Right.
let alone trying to make a plan for September or October or August. We just don't know. So build a plan that's very flexible, that includes some virtual and some real or traditional, if you will. And that seems like a pretty logical approach.
Yes, and along those lines, because we do know that the virus will still be here in the fall. There's nothing that says that it will be gone. We won't yet have an immunization, a vaccine that will allow us to say that all of us will be protected. And that means that we will still have to use some social distancing and other measures to protect us. So I think that our students will have to be wearing masks. We will still have to use other measures like COVID-19 testing. We'll have to do contact tracing. We'll have to do serology testing, and we'll have to protect our faculty, students, and staff. And so it will be labor intensive.
Well, it will, and you are at the perfect intersection of education and the medical community to really, I think, have some really interesting perspective on this. Joining us now is the president of Oakland University. She is Dr. Ora Hirsch-Pescovitz, and I always have trouble with these multi-syllable words, but you are a pediatric endocrinologist. And that is a physician in the area of diabetes. Is that correct? Is that what you're?
Yes, diabetes and other hormones, but you're right. I'm a physician, and I spent a lot of my career taking care of children. Now, of course, our college students wouldn't consider themselves children
No.
anymore, but children and young adults, actually. So I've spent much of my life taking care of young people.
So you mentioned just a minute ago. We're going to get back to talking more about your university, but you did mention, doctor, just a minute ago that that there we do really not have a vaccine. We don't have treatments, but we are beginning to see the emergence of some treatments, and it seems like it's going at an awful fast rate. Do you have any thoughts on where we are and where you think we might be going?
Well, I'm also just watching that from a distance. But just yesterday, the results of the remdesivir trials, which were actually promising. I have to say that's the first randomized controlled study that actually showed some promise. It's really early, it's a small study, but that was the first RCT, the first randomized controlled study of a drug. But there are many other studies that are right now in the works. And so I think that's promising. The studies about a vaccine, though, we have to be really patient with that. Most vaccines take years to be developed. So I think it's going to be a while before we can count on a vaccine actually being out there for us.
So we're talking to the president of Oakland University right now, Ora Hirsch-Pescovitz, and Dr. Hirsch-Pescovitz. The graduation plans for our high schools and our universities, they're all over the place, and a lot of people are frustrated. I talked to a friend of mine who's got a daughter in Michigan State, and
Yeah.
they they're people that they really like to have their commencement ceremonies, but we may not see traditional. We probably won't see traditional
Right.
commencement ceremonies this spring. Do you have plans in place at Oakland University?
Yes, I really do empathize with our students. It's such an important thing. Our students work so hard to get to the point where they graduate, and having a celebratory, symbolic event when we can actually really celebrate their achievements is so important to them and to their families. And so I do understand how much it means to them. We did delay and defer our graduation ceremony for our students. And we are now thinking about what we're going to be able to do to really celebrate the moment for them. And we're looking into doing something innovative and creative that will really allow them to know how much we admire them and recognize them, and really want to join with them in this celebratory moment, because it is such an important day in not only their lives, but really their families too. And it's so important. It's a day to remember. So, we don't want it to just pass. And so we're looking into what to do. We did defer from our spring date until August, but I am a little bit concerned about whether we're going to have to do something else as well. So we've got some innovative and entrepreneurial creative ideas that we're examining right now.
All right. Well, I got one for you too. Well, maybe we can talk about it when we get off the air. But if we
Yeah,
can Zoom together and be on TV and radio all over Oakland County, who knows
yeah.
what we could do? There's all kinds of really fun technology that can help capture the moment. So, best of luck to you as you do that. I've been so warmed by talking to the. It's been so great talking to the superintendents of our various school districts around Oakland County, and just the amazing things they're doing. It's certainly, of course, just a challenge to educate people when they're at home. But beyond that, food services, community services, so many other things as our school districts, our high schools are just pillars of the community, no exception at Oakland. I know at Oakland University you've been doing amazing work. Do you want to talk about some of the programs that you've been engaged in during this crisis?
Absolutely. Once we sent our students home, we realized that we had an enormous resource, both on our campus and with our people. And so we immediately offered both the campus and the people in a variety of different ways. So let me maybe start by telling you, Dave, about the campus. we recognized right away that there was going to be this huge crisis and that the true heroes in fighting this battle are the healthcare providers. So the very first thing that I did was I reached out to the health systems that are in our vicinity, and I offered our campus, in particular our residence halls, our dorms, to the health systems in our region. And I said, could you use our dormitories, our residence halls, for those healthcare providers who might not be able to go home because they might have vulnerable people in their homes, and might they use our residence halls for that? And today, we now have healthcare providers that are actually sleeping in our residence halls. And I'm really thrilled about that because it's really been a great resource to them. I think that eventually in the coming weeks, that will no longer be necessary as we're seeing a decline in the number of acute patients. We're a little bit past the surge. So that's a great thing. And that will be right on time for our own students to begin to occupy our own residence halls. So the timing is just perfect for that. But the other thing that happened was that we had this outpouring of support from our own students, faculty, and staff, just hungry to want to do something. They wanted to volunteer. And we created something that we call TEAM. And TEAM stands for the Engagement and Mobilization Team. And this was made up of hundreds of students, faculty, and staff doing a variety of things in the community. So again, doing so many different things. So we converted our Oakland Center, which is our student union, into a food distribution center. This is something that we've done in collaboration with numerous different organizations. Today, we have distributed food to over 50,000 people.
Wow.
One of our faculty, Jennifer Lucarelli, is in the lead on this, but it's just been unbelievable. If you were to visit it today, you would not recognize it as the student union. You'd think it's a food distribution center. It's incredible.
Well, we talked to Jennifer on the Megacast last week,
Okay.
and the work that she's been doing is really
Incredible.
amazing. And
Yeah.
listen, you've done exactly what a lot of us have done. We just have to pivot, right? You've done a really good, smart pivot, and so many fronts to help out. It's great, fantastic.
Yeah. Really creative things. I'll give you just one other example
Sure.
because I know you're probably tight on time, but engineering students have taken our 3D printers and they've used them to make face shields. Students from the School of Music, Theater, and Dance have used the costume shop to make face masks, the cloth masks. Medical students have developed a COVID course to teach about the pathophysiology of the virus and then to teach others about it. Honor students are actually tutoring kids. We have students from the Upward Bound program that are doing the same. So we have every person who has an ability to do one thing pivoting, just as you've said, to assist the community in another way. And so it's really remarkable how people have just used their skill set and pivoted it to benefit the community in another way. I'm just so proud of what our people at Oakland have been able to do. It shows an entrepreneurial spirit, but using it in a way that benefits the community at large. It's just
well
fantastic.
said, and we've noticed the same. That's why I was so excited to be with you today.
Yeah.
Thrilled to be able to have an opportunity to be with so many of your friends and followers and students and staff
Yeah.
via your Facebook page today for the broadcast. And it's really great to connect with you and nice to meet you virtually. Hopefully we'll have an opportunity somewhere down the road, and maybe we can bring the broadcast out to Oakland University and
we'd love that.
find out about some of the other things that are going on. Dr. Ora Hirsch-Pescovitz is joining us. She is the president at Oakland University. One other really cool thing, we talked to Carl Leone, who is the head of the esports program. Had him on the air the other day. That's really great what you're doing there too with virtual sports during these trying times. So bravo on that front too.
Yeah. Now, I'm really excited about that. We're the first Division I esports team in Michigan. And we're thrilled to have Carl because he's our new coach. And actually, we started that. You'd think that we maybe started that because of these times, but the reality is that we had planned that program before we even, had the COVID crisis. So we think that that's perfectly, appropriate for this era of everything being, virtual. And we know that our students are just going to love that. We already had a esports club team, but now we have a D1, a Division One esports team that's going to be starting up this fall.
Amazing. Well, I look forward to getting in line and watching their progress as they get into their season. Doctor, thank you very much for joining us today. Good luck with everything at Oakland.
Dave.
No problem. Good luck with everything at Oakland University during these challenging times, and we will keep in touch.
You too. Stay safe and healthy.
Thank you very much, and you as well. Tyler, amazing things going on at Oakland University.